The Bears are being lined up in national chatter to make a top 10 swing for Texas left tackle Trevor Goosby as the blindside bodyguard for Caleb Williams. And if you missed the nuance here, you missed the whole direction of this franchise. This is not a throwaway mock. It's a temperature check on how the league sees Chicago's next big move and why Braxton Jones could be staring at a role change the second this card is turned in. Welcome back to Bears News Fan Report, the huddle that treats the city's football like oxygen. Tap subscribe. Drop a like, turn on alerts right now, because I'm about to break down why this pick will be a culture pivot, how it resets the protection math against Aiden Hutchinson and Jonathan Greenard and every wide nine assassin on the schedule, what it means for Caleb's second-year development curve, and what happens to Braxton's future in the building if the front office pulls this trigger. First, the headline inside the headline. Goosby's rise is not hype without teeth. We're talking 6'7", 312 with length that steals throwing windows from rushers and feet that do not belong on a man that large. The book on him reads gifted mover, but that undersells the tape. You see a tackle who can carry speed to power to the apex without panicking, reset his base after a long arm stab, and mirror inside counters because his hips stay square longer than your average college left tackle. The athletic profile? Freakish by tackle standards, reported flying 10 around 1.44, off-season GPS brushing 20 miles per hour, lower body explosion that shows up in jump metrics, and a ridiculous 360 dunk that turns OL drills into a mixtape. That's not circus fluff. That's the type of movement skill that lets you run true vertical sets against elite rushers and still have the recovery juice when the rep gets messy. And in a division where Hutchinson cross-faces your hands at 100 miles per hour and Greenard can string you out with a ghost move into an inside knife, recovery is the difference between 2nd and 19 inches and 2nd and 2. Now fold that into Caleb's ecosystem. Year 2 quarterbacks make their leap when the first and second reads are allowed to breathe. The easiest way to suffocate a young QB is to let the blind side leak. Late pressure, muddy pockets, off-platform throws that scramble footwork and timing. With Goosby, the pass pro menu expands. You can call more pure drop back, more 5-out looks where the back releases, and you trust the left tackle to live on an island on 3rd and 7. More dagger, more deep sail, more shot concepts off condensed splits. Because you're not burning a tight end on chip duty every high-leverage snap. It also punches up your RPO in quick game. If the backside edge can't tee off, Caleb's footwork stays on time, and those 5-step rhythm throws to DJ. Moore and Roma Dunn's term from hang on to hit and go. And in the run game, a mover like Goosby lets you stretch defenses horizontally with true outside zone, then hit duo with bad intentions because linebackers are already running. You can release him on screens with actual menace 30 yards downfield, escorting like a bouncer because the kid can open his hips and run. All of that is why the mock machine keeps connecting him to Chicago. Fit plus need plus trajectory. But I hear you, this city doesn't crown prospects on athletic testing. We've got scars. So let's talk risk with the same honesty we demand on Sundays. The resume is still light on long stretch starting tape. He's jumped fast, and that can mean the hand usage hasn't fully matured yet. You see occasional oversets versus wide alignments. When he opens the gate too early, an NFL edge with a violent inside spin will try to live there. The anchor shows up, but the pad level creeps high late in reps. Pros will test his core strength with walkbacks. He's not a penalty magnet, but rookie tackles often grab when their feet stall, expect a holding or two while the technique hardens. That's the apprenticeship tax. The question isn't, is he perfect? It's, does his curve align with Caleb's curve so the offense can grow in sync? And this is where the calculation gets real. If you believe Goosby's baseline in September is already equal to or above Braxton's average game, and his ceiling in December is significantly higher, you don't wait because every extra clean pocket you buy your franchise quarterback in year 2 is compound interest. Which brings us to Braxton Jones, and I'm going to be respectful here because he's fought his way into meaningful NFL snaps. He's long. He's competitive. He's had stretches where he looked like a legit starter. But the consistency hasn't landed. You see too many reps where speed to power shocks his chest and narrows his base, where inside counters catch him leaning, where his recoveries ask the quarterback to make a play instead of making the play himself. That doesn't make him expendable. It makes him valuable as a swing tackle or a competitor at right tackle. You can give the room 2 shots at stabilizing the edges. Gooseby on the left learning the league with training wheels, you start to remove around midseason. Braxton fighting at right with a path to start if he wins it. And your depth chart actually becomes an asset instead of a weekly anxiety. Layer free agency onto this, and you see the plan. If you draft the left tackle, you can chase a value veteran for the right side, or you can trust a camp battle. Either way, you reduce the odds of Caleb's growth getting hijacked by edge pressure. Let's zoom into schematics for a second, because OL talk gets fluffy if you don't put it into concepts. Early downs. Chicago wants to live in formats that stress width and force defenses to declare contents. Sets with motion to yank the flat defender. Pistol or gun with a tight split to the boundary to set up crack toss. Then shift back to true 11 personnel where your back chips to the inside and releases. With a mover at LT, you can sprint protect left arm boots. Ask him to cut off a 5 tech on the backside of zone and pull the guard with confidence because the hinge is secure. Third downs. You can add more true vertical sets, no training wheels because the hand timing and foot cadence can survive pro rush plans. Want to go empty to diagnose coverage? You're less scared when your blind side isn't a coin flip. Want to run play action with deeper roots? Your QB doesn't have to feel a phantom that isn't there. That's not just comfort. That's points. And points are the only language that changes how teams defend you in November. Now the divisional reality check. The NFC North isn't gentle. Hutchinson is a constant math problem. Greenard is a suddenness monster. Rash and Gary will long arm you into the quarterback's lap if your inside hand lands late. Chicago has been living in a world where the offensive structure sometimes had to compensate rather than dictate. Think about what happens if you flip that. If Caleb gets 10% more clean third and mediums, the backside dig to O'Dunn's becomes a staple. The seam to K-Met shows up twice as often. And DJ's slant and go stops being a take it when you can and starts being call it because you can. The trickle down hits the run game too. Fewer predictable protections means fewer loaded boxes on your tail plays. It's all connected. Draft economics matter here too. A franchise left tackle on a rookie deal is a cheat code for roster building. You reallocate cap to premium defenders and a second contract for your WR room without starving the line. You don't chase mid-tier veterans to patch a premium position. And if Gooseby becomes what the athletic profile suggests, his second contract syncs with the heart of Caleb's prime. That's not just football. That's project management. So where could it go sideways? If you expect Gooseby to arrive as a finished product, you'll hate the early penalties and the 2 sacks where a veteran sold him a move he hadn't seen at speed. If you yo-yo him bench, start, bench you kill the reps that harden technique. If you keep the scheme static and don't give him day one help rules, chip to inside hand only, RBI's the long arm rusher, tay nudge and release if a game is coming. You pile stress on a rookie you should be onboarding. The onus is on the staff to teach. Independent hands, jump set versus hesitators. The catch and kill anchor versus true power, the inside foot, drag to kill inside counters. And the onus is on the front office, protect the depth one injury and your plan can't become a scramble. People will also ask, what about the alternative trade down, pick a different profile, or fix another spot? Reasonable. If an elite corner or edge slides, if a unicorn WR falls to 10 and turns your offense into a track meet, the board could force a different conversation. But today's buzz isn't crazy because it marries need and identity. The offense you want to be requires a blind side you can trust. Period. Which brings me to the part where this channel stops hedging. My opinion, if the board falls close to chalk and Trevor Gooseby is there at Chicago's pick, I'd run the card. I'd then create a genuine competition at right tackle where Braxton Jones has a real shot to win. I'd sign a budget veteran to raise the floor. And I'd spend day two capital on an interior lineman with center guard flex who plays with low pads and nasty. Because one rookie won't fix everything, but one rookie plus an identity will. I'd bake protections that showcase Goosby's movement from week one screens where he's the lead. Sprint outs to his side. RPOs that punish ends who widen, and I'd slowly expand the solo island menu by Thanksgiving. Do that, and you're not just drafting a tackle. You're drafting a philosophy. Now it's your turn, Chicago. Do you prioritize the blind side now and move Braxton into the swing role? Or do you ride it out and spend your pick on a splash at another spot? Would you take the short-term lumps with a rookie if it buys Caleb a cleaner ceiling by Christmas? What scares you most rookie mistakes or another year of hoping the edge doesn't collapse at the worst time? Drop your blueprint below. Be specific. How would you handle the room? Who competes where? And what's your first month protection plan? Subscribe if you're new. This community doesn't do hot take tourism. We do receipts. We do film. We do Sundays like they matter. My final word tonight. I'm in on Gooseby at 10 if the board cooperates. The athletic profile plus the take plus the timeline add up. You don't often get to put a roof over your franchise quarterback in one move. When you do, you take it. Braxton still has value swing, competition, depth, but protecting Caleb is the franchise full stop. If the room embraces that and the staff onboards the kid with purpose, you'll feel it by November. Fewer hits, more answers, and an offense that finally calls plays like it trusts itself.